If you've ever said to yourself, darn, have to wait another year for Canada to win a Stanley Cup, it's first since 91. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Sorry, Oilers fans. I was rooting for them too. Game was extremely exciting. But we're back here to make some money this morning. We're going to break the market down. We've got my main man, 13, in the back. We also got news by Nick making his return post-vacation. Let's go ahead and get it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks, we are back. Let's go ahead and dive into another market. Happy Tuesday. I hope where you are, all you folks are doing well. I will say here in Chicago, we've got some pretty crazy storms. So if I just disappear, that means my internet was most likely knocked out. But that's okay because I got my teammates to hold the line. 13, how are you doing this morning, dude?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Aside from the storm outside, which I actually kind of think is cool, I'm doing pretty good. In addition to 13, we also have news by Nick. Nick, how are you doing? And more importantly, how was your weekend?
It was good. We traveled back yesterday from vacation, only like a 7-hour car ride from to North Carolina and from North Carolina. So it was a good day. No weather issues, and it was sunny. It was gorgeous. Got some time outdoors, went to the lake. It was a nice little mini vacation. I'll be planning a bigger one for a week heading in New York, maybe in a month or so.
Okay, awesome. I mean, any type of vacation sounds good. And thrilled to hear that the weather cooperated with your drive and all of that. A 7-hour drive in inclement weather, not great. So happy to have you back. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Let's go ahead and start here with the SPY. So we're still kind of trading in a little bit of a range here. Really didn't do we were weak yesterday, but we really didn't do a whole lot in terms of movement. 13, I know you got some levels that you want to go over here. What are you seeing here on the SPY today?
Well, yesterday I was talking about that channel that's been created by these previous all-time highs that we seem to be trading in and out of pretty frequently. On Friday, we were mostly inside that channel all day. Yesterday, we actually had a breakout of that channel, but then ended up coming right back in just about 2 hours later. Came right back in and ended up shooting right through it and falling out of it into the close. Now, since then, in the non-regular session, we've been seeing it trade up all the way back up to that the bottom of that channel, which is at 544.12. So I'm thinking we'll probably end up back inside that channel at some point. But if we don't, then that could indicate that there's more downside ahead if we get rejected at the bottom of that channel. So that's all I'll be watching for today.
Okay. Real good breakdown there. We'll see on the SPY. I know we had that nice little rip out of the gate yesterday, pretty much just faded the entire rest of the day. You got anything else here? We got some more Fed speak, home price index, consumer confidence. Not really a whole lot. We'll get new home sales tomorrow. We'll see here.
All right. The juicier stuff comes later the week.
Yeah, it's a little bit later in the week there. Okay, good morning, everybody out there. Zippity, Becca, Wiss, Robert, Larry, Ben, Alex, Lynn, Robert, Market, Sniper, Jonathan, boy, that was tough. Crow, Jennifer, Bernhard, great. Beach Bum, great to see all of you here this morning. Okay, let's break down some of the movers here, and then we'll go through some of the news headlines that are driving some of the stocks today. Let me flip over to my gap scanner here. First one on the list is going to be the big one here today, or at least the big gapper here today, ticker RGS, Romeo Golf Sierra. Regis shares are trading higher after the company announced that it entered into a new senior secured credit facility with TCW Asset Management to refinance its existing debt. Well, that piece of news really driving the stock here up 182%. Stock was what, $5 yesterday. Here we are. We've actually already tested 16. We're $4 extended from the VWAP 13. What on earth is going on with this one?
So they secured a credit facility to help manage their debt. And when, excuse me, when you look at their balance sheet, you can see that this is something they really needed to do. And it's not a great looking balance sheet this company has, but the fact that they're trying to get their debt under control And you can see that how apparent that is over the different quarters. Their debt just getting smaller and smaller. It seems like they're actually trying to do the right thing and get this company on a path to profitability. They do have a 2.26 million share float. Didn't see any reverse splits of note. So that's really what this company is moving on. I don't have upside targets for this, but I'll identify those and give you an update later on as we begin to trade.
Yeah, we also want to, I mean, frankly, if we pull back here, that will really kind of give us some of the better upside targets, right? If we pull back to a level where we can find some type of tradable bottom, we'll be able to look at some of the levels above that. The float that you mentioned here being pretty low, that's got to play into the move that we're seeing here. The other thing that I'm wondering is, we've talked a lot about the environment being very difficult, especially for small cap stocks. Money being very expensive to borrow. Do you think that maybe when we see news about cleaning up a balance sheet and cleaning up debt, that is going to be over rewarded by market participants? Do you think maybe that could also be contributing to the move that we see here in RGS?
The fact that they have the ability to get more money when they need it seems to me like that's absolutely it's helping.
Yeah.
I think there's a number of factors at play here, and what you just said is one of them. But there's a number of things going on here. I'm not going to get into how I think this is going to help affect their business's bottom line. We're just here to trade this today, and I think this is just exciting for the company. So it's exciting for traders, and that's why people are piling into it. I don't have anything more to really add on that, except that this is why it's moving.
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of speculating here. Crow saying they own all the first choice hair salons. To be honest with you, Crow, I don't even know what that means, but sounds good. So if you guys know what first choice hair salons are,
that's where the credit facility is secured against them.
Okay.
That's probably what it's at. That's
no, you're probably right about that. Volume here, really, really impressive. Let's see what the opening print looks like. RGS, this thing's wild. Speaking of wild, let's also really quickly talk about MLGO. It's not going to be on the huge gapper list here today because it's actually down from where it closed yesterday. However, stock had a huge run yesterday. We were talking about trading this right in here, 7 or an 8 break. This stock ended up going to 16 in the after hours, 14 and change in the regular session. Just a massive move here. Once again, we've seen it again. The biggest move or the most tradable move happening here in the afternoon. So, a lot of these that we talk about or that we trade here in the morning, we'll often have some type of setup later on in the afternoon. I was actually able to scalp this one more time yesterday afternoon when I realized what was going on. It was much easier to trade than it was here in the morning. So just kind of keep that on mind. We'll see, or keep that in mind. We'll see if MLGO gets ready again to go here today. We did pop up towards 16 here in the pre-market, but we've backed off since then. Don't really see. Go ahead.
What was interesting is that we talked about how this didn't have any news when we were trading it. And then there was a bit of a news headline questioning why it was going up. And it was revealed that there was a Japanese investor that took a stake in this that most likely helped drive that up. I think you got the information right there. Yeah, 13.5% stake in the company. So that we've seen that before, where a sizable stake being taken in any small company that's been beaten up as much as it has been, that's going to drive the stock up. We've seen that happen plenty of times here on live trading. Yeah.
And I don't have anything here on the insider, so that just looks like a stake here. Kudos to our team for discovering that here. Happy hour coming in again. We'll see if MLGO is any carry through here today. I didn't hold any of this overnight. Of course, told you ahead of time I wouldn't even consider doing that. We'll see if this sets up again. We do have quite a bit of gappers here this morning, so we'll see if this is actually one of the better plays. Okay, we already talked about RGS. LRHC, La Rosa Holdings, saw a number of people talking about this one here this morning. WIS, you're already calling this as today's runner. La Rosa Holdings shares trading higher after the company now intends to white label its AI system. Name here is JAEME. Help me out. Is that Jame? How do you pronounce that correctly?
Probably Jamie.
Jamie, maybe. Okay.
I probably think of Jamie. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel dumb because I'm probably mispronouncing it. LRHC popping 56% here. WIS, I can't tell you if this is actually going to be the runner of the day, but given the headline here, I could absolutely see that. Intends to white label its AI system. I mean, that's probably pretty good here. This thing popped above 240. Looks like it stopped here at 253. We're only about 15 cents away from the VWAP here. This actually might give us a trade. Pre-market volume looks good. We'll see what happens when the market actually opens. We'll take a look at the 15-minute chart. You can see even recently we've popped. So I got another spot here to watch at 293 if we get up there. This one definitely could be on deck. 13, you got anything on this one?
Yeah, the thing that's interesting about this is that this Jamie system is going to be used to support real estate agents. Now, if you recall, I've talked about how I see some, I thought Rocket was going to end up doing it. They haven't. We've seen some other companies come out with some kind of AI-based or AI companion or support system to help new home buyers. This is the first one that I've seen that actually is supposed to help real estate agents, because I thought, well, I guess it hasn't been handed down yet, but that National Association of Realtors settlement is going to result in kind of a big change in the real estate agent industry. So I'm not sure how they're going to implement this system to help an industry that's questionable at the moment. But the thing is that this is a very, very interesting development for real estate agents and AI, because we still have housing demand. And we still have home buyers that are sitting on the sidelines waiting for rates to correct. So this is interesting to me in that respect, that there's all these different AI systems getting set up and ready to go for when that demand returns, because we haven't seen it come back yet. And I think that this past season of home buying is a big indicator of that. They do have 9.28 million shares in the float. I don't have anything other than that. They did a reverse split a while back.
You know what we'll do though, 13? We'll ask our real estate expert about this and see if we can't get anything more. Hopefully she's on tonight, and we'll see if we have any trade going forward here. At the moment though, I'm not looking. All of these here are day trades as usual. Good morning, Oscar. It's great to see you here this morning. Real quick, also worth mentioning here, all of the cruise lines are popping right now. Obviously, they were waiting for Becca to get back, and now they're all going to run and give us a trade. So CCL popping here, NCLH, did I get it right? Yes, got Norwegian right. That's popping here. RCL popping here. We'll take a look at this. Nick, I'm assuming there's news here on the cruise lines. We'll go through that here in a sec. Let me just finish off the movies list. I did just want to quickly mention that here. We are running out of time, so I'll be very, very quick. VLCN, Volcon here. This actually popped. This has since dropped and used the VWAP as resistance in the pre-market here. Didn't see any fresh news. 13, did you have anything on this, or can I just move on?
They did a recent 1-for-100 reverse split on June 7th. That's the only thing I could see this really having any potential to move it on. So they do now have just under 300,000 shares in the float. So this one can definitely get kicked around quite handily. That's all I have on VLCN if you want to move on.
Yep, perfect. Cavill, ex-girlfriend here. We've talked about this one quite a bit. This is actually popped, used 160 as resistance here today. We had an offering yesterday after hours, $6 million public offering. Stock is higher by 20% here today. Go figure. I want to see what the opening print is on this first. You got anything here on Cavill?
It's higher because the offering was set at $1.53 a share, and it was trading underneath that at the time of the offering. So that's one of the reasons why I think that might be the reason why it's getting lifted up, because it's really not going any higher than that.
Nope, and it's still under that price.
Yeah, so it's come back in since then, but now their share count is at 950,000 shares. They did a 1-for-21 reverse split on January 25th, just so you recall.
Okay. Next here is going to be ENVX. This is ENVX. And actually, shout out to Zoltan, who I believe is on vacation and not here with us today. Zoltan has been talking about ENVX for a long time, given some of his due diligence on Happy Hour, mentioned it here. ENVX shares trading higher after the company signed a deal to supply silicon batteries for mixed reality headsets. This traded above 1450, just shy of 15. We've come back to the VWAP, and we're sitting there on ENVX. Volume here looks fairly in line for what we're used to seeing. So we'll see how ENVX actually performs when the market opens here. If we get volume to flow into this, I definitely don't think 15 is out of the question here today. We'll see what the first move is here. ENVX, you got anything on this one?
Nope.
Okay.
Gotta have Zoltan take care of that when he gets back.
You will have Zoltan take care of that one. Absolutely. BT likely moving with Bitcoin here. WENA. This is a new medical. I'm actually not sure what this is. Didn't really see anything on it. And then DJT. DJT higher here. Again, this has actually made a ridiculous move off the $24 bottom. 12 points. And what was that? Friday? 12 points since Friday. Huge move here on DJT. We'll see if that continues as well. Okay. Let's go back over to the chart tool. Let's talk about some of the news. Nick, I'm sorry to tease you and then put you on hold there. Sounds like Carnival's reporting earnings here this morning. That's ticker CCL. What's going on with Carnival?
So adjusted EPS came in at 11 cents. The estimate was for 2 cents of a loss, so better than expected. And revenue also topped expectations, $5.78 billion. The estimate was for $5.675 billion, so again, better than expected. They see Q3 net yields up 8%, adjusted EBITDA up 20%. They see full year net yields up 10.25%. They see Q3 adjusted EPS approximately $1.15, better than expectations of $1.10. Quickly going through the release, they say, quote, based on continued strong demand trends, we are taking up our expectations for the year with net yields now forecasted to top 10% and propelling us towards double-digit revenues on invested capital. Continuing to go through the release, the Carnival Corporation Executive Officer Josh Weinstein, he said, quote, we have made incredible strides in improving our commercial operations, strategically allocating our portfolio composition and formulating growth plans. And basically, this is a very bullish release, a very optimistic full year ahead guidance. So Carnival is actually moving higher, better than expected earnings, and then raising guidance on the top and bottom line for full year.
Yeah, really good stuff there. And you can see here, Carnival's actually trading up towards the top end of the range. 13, I'm curious to think, I'm curious to know, what you think about the current level here. And if you have any technical, I can't remember if we've really kind of charted this in the past. So understand if you don't have anything prepared here, just figured we'd take a look at it as this pushes 17, which is the top end of the recent high here on Carnival.
Yeah, so looking at a daily chart, I'd be curious to see if we're going to end up breaking out around somewhere between 1950 and 20, because there's been a double top there previously. We got that back in the middle and end of 2023. So now we're coming back or making its way back up to there. I'm wondering if we're going to end up seeing a triple top or if it's going to break out there. So I think this high here that you see recently as March, that's going to be the first level. The really big level that I'm questioning is after that from the 2023 highs. That's where I'm going to be wondering if we reverse or break out.
Yeah, so you're talking about right in here, that number to look at, really kind of 1950 there. Here's your March highs that you spoke about, that number about 1770, currently here at $17. You know, the one thing that we just took a look at here, we are at a resistance level here on the daily. This marks the high from June 6th. If you take a look at the weekly, we are actually right above the 200-week moving average by about 25 cents. We'll see if we close above that. That would be pretty bullish. We're coming off that 50-week moving average, by the way. And if you take a look at the monthly, we're actually just above the 50-month moving average as well. So how this stock closes today should be kind of important to where it goes from here, at least from looking at the chart. So that's what's going on in CCL. As we mentioned here, this actually is going to affect some of the other boats here. Royal Caribbean, one of them, and then NCLH. I got it right 2 times in a row. Amazing. That's also trading higher here. As far as the stock goes, I'm pretty sure that it's Royal Caribbean that's best in breed. We'd have to take a look at the balance sheets and see what the debt levels look like, but I'm pretty sure it's RCL that's going to be the better one. CCL, nice report here today. We'll see if that changes things. Nick, what else you got for us, dude?
Let's talk about the airlines, because this was interesting. We were talking about this backstage. The U.S. Transportation Secretary Administration said it screened 2.99 million airline passengers on Sunday. That's the highest ever number in a single day. The agency also said it expects to screen more than 32 million travelers during the 2024 Independence Day travel period that runs through from Thursday, July 8th, which is going to be 5.4% higher than 2023 levels. I had to dig back in my notes, guys, because we actually got a AAA expectation for what they think, and they expect nearly 71 million people expected to travel over the July 4th week. They think this year's extended Independence Day forecast exceeds pre-pandemic numbers and sets a new record. They're projecting that the time period for which they'll be talking about, which is going to be the Saturday before and then the Sunday after the holiday, they think it's going to be a 5% increase compared to 2023 and then an 8% increase over 2019. They anticipate that 5.7 million people will be traveling more than 2019. So it's going to be very interesting. And then sticking with the airlines, Pittsburgh International Airport has actually issued an advisory saying if your flights are between 5 to 8 a.m., they're advising that you arrive between 2.5 to 3 hours before your flight because of longer ticketing and security lines. They're experiencing record-breaking crowds this summer, which means longer than usual TSA security lines. And then they're working with TSA to see how much they can kind of help out with possible. And then don't forget, Pittsburgh International Airport is also offering a new terminal back in coming up in 2025 that's going to offer 11 TSA lines, including a dedicated family line. So I've talked with many travelers last night and through the holiday. I had a friend get back from Greece last night. He had to go to another airport because, well, their flight was overbooked and they didn't realize it. So there's been some accommodations, but the airline, and I was actually just at the airport last week taking a neighbor to the airport, and the demand is high. Travel is demanding. So just watch airline stocks. This could be a potential catalyst, a potential news mover regarding.
Yeah, man, having a 5:50 a.m. flight in the airport telling you to get there 3 hours early. I ain't getting to no airport at 2 o'clock in the morning. Get out of here with that nonsense. I schedule those earlier flights so I can get there a little bit later. That's crazy. You know, the interesting thing about that, I checked here when we were discussing that, no such warning from O'Hare, which is, I believe, one of the biggest airports in the country by traffic. So interesting. Interesting stuff there. Okay. We'll take a look at the airlines. The other thing that could really affect, we've been talking about the consumer maybe tightening up. One of the discussions that we've had in happy hour is that the consumer likes to spend or seems to like to spend more of their money on experiences. So maybe travel like cruises and airlines are the last of that. We'll see how that shakes out. Nick, you got anything else news?
Yeah, we wanted to talk about Novo Nordisk, ticker NVO. They're going to be investing $4.1 billion in a new facility in North Carolina. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. The construction will gradually be finalized between 2027 and 2029. That's according to Novo Nordisk. That would add about 1,000 jobs, and they say it plans to invest about $6.8 billion in production this year, up from an actual investment of $3.9 billion last year to just basically increase supply.
Okay. And, you know, Novo Nordisk here. So the other thing is that this is news here on some of the semaglutides there. This actually might affect other semaglutide companies or other, you know, the weight loss drugs, whatever we want to call them. We've talked a lot about Eli Lilly and VKTX here. Those were both up in the pre-market. So watch to see if we get any type of sympathy play there with the news here on NVS. I mean, you can see it right here in the news feed. 4.1 billion, another facility, or double the plant size. Man, demand is strong for that. We are open. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we can trade here. Stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting above the 25K day trading threshold, they can help you with that. If you simply need more dry powder, they can help you with that too. Let's go ahead and see what we can trade here today. What are we watching right out of the gate?
Well, I'm looking to see if LRHC is going to break above this 270 that they've been trying to push through since the pre-market. They're on the doorstep of that right now, but it's looking a little weak. And if it comes back in, then I think I'll have a better opportunity to try and trade this.
Okay.
It's pushing. Well, it's going higher, but it is just not getting that volumetric
it feels
move.
heavy. It feels heavy up here, honestly.
Well, it's going a little bit better now.
VLCN maybe back towards the VWAP here. VLCN.
I'm thinking that too.
Oh man, that's sped up as soon as I switched to it. Now we're stopping here at the VWAP. Let's see if we can get over there.
Hey, real quick, we didn't talk about it, but remember yesterday, Solar Edge?
Yeah, SEDG, yes, sir.
That might have a RSI bounce here today. Just keep that in mind. They just did a private offering of 300 million convertible notes due in 29. But since that news, they've come down to a really low daily RSI of 16. And I could see this getting a technical reversal. I don't know how much upside there is in this. Maybe it goes to 30 or 28, but there could be a small play in here just off of that really oversold position.
Okay, good stuff there. SEDG first move here is up on that. So good call there. VLCN stopping right here at the VWAP. Boy, this really spread out too. Let's check on the RGS. That was one of the big movers here this morning. Looks like that dip got bought. I'd be really, really careful with this one. This $3+ extended from the VWAP. Jay trimming some of those NVIDIA puts. Nice job on that one. I'm kind of waiting for a while there for tech to really kind of sell off. I know that you talked about this position yesterday. NVIDIA was higher here, but right at the open, showing some weakness right here at the VWAP. I probably would have played that the same way. Kept a trailer on and see if this really flushes later on today. ENVX looks like that is dropping. It lost the VWAP here. Let's go back and check on LRHC. Oh my God, it went right through that 13. Look at that.
Oh, it actually popped and then came back in, and then it went through it again.
Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't try to trade that one. That I probably would have messed that one up.
There's a big old wall at $3 though.
I was going to say, I would imagine that this is going to test 3 at some point here today. Here is MLGO. Looks like this is kind of non-eventful here today. Carnival. Looks like that pulled a little bit right off the open. The LCN's trying to go through the VWAP there. Glenn talking about Chewy here. Man, Chewy extremely strong. We talked about this when we first talked about the trade here, about things changing. That last earnings report really kind of changed things. Chewy continuing to show you this here. Anytime the stock dips, buyers step back in. Let's see what Chewy does at 30. One of the moves that we had talked about is that this move actually measures to 30. So we'll see if it ends up reversing there. CMG got mentioned earlier. This, of course, splits after hours tonight and will be reflected tomorrow, I believe. So CMG, we'll see how that trades here today. I'm curious on how this trades after the split. I'm not necessarily worried about it going into it.
LRHC up to 3 and trying to get through it as we speak.
I actually don't. I'm going to put it up on a different. I don't have.
It's almost there.
Just hold them off for a few seconds.
It just went through all that.
Bang, right through. Let's see if we get a pull here. We got a 6-cent pop through there, and higher we go. 10 cents now.
Wow. Yeah, I have 350 as the next upside target.
315, 317, 18. That, wow, really. This is the type of upside break. I want to see this work more often. When we start seeing these work instead of breaking and then pulling, we'll start trading them a little bit more here. This great move here. Whisk, great call on this one.
Yep.
We were on this from this morning here. LRHC. We'll see where this ends up settling. Let's see how VLCN, look at that. VLCN rejected at that VWAP. We'll see if this can actually get through that VWAP here. LRHC, definitely the trader of the day so far this morning. Nice move here. RGS, Crow saying RGS now. We'll see if this ends up popping through here. An RGS. Got this level right up here at what? 15 seems to be the key spot there on RGS. This spread out pretty good here. They're right through 15. Oh my goodness. Great call on that one here, Crow, as well. That's going higher here. Now, this actually a halt risk here, 1546, I believe.
Yeah, 1530 I have as a level. We've already seen that it couldn't capture that once in pre-market. When it got to 1590, it came back in. This is the second attempt to go over it. Now we just got halted, like you said. So
Yeah, RGS halted here.
If it pushes up and continues going, my next upside target on this one is 1725.
Real quick, Crow, you're definitely getting a register ring and a one up here. 2 for 2 on LHRC or LRHC, whatever the ticker was. And now RGS too. That was a nice little rotation right into that for that high a day break. Next spot we have here is going to be 16, looks like, in the pre-market. We'll see if it takes that out.
VLCN, just to mention it, it did get rejected by VWAP out of the gate. Is trying to get back up there and through it again. Volume not the same as it was in the last 5 minutes, so I'm not sure if we're going to see a breakout here, but just watch for volume to expand in case that we do see it start to break out. So far, it seems like Solar Edge is trying to get a close back above 28 on the 5-minute chart. It hasn't done it yet, but it's been trading up there.
VLCN, this going through the VWAP here, 650.
There it is. Volume's coming in. It's got to get through this pre-market supply.
I've got the VWAP about 15 cents difference from Thinkorswim to trade the pool here. I think that this, if you're playing this ahead of that VWAP, I think this is actually a pretty decent spot to at least take partial here. 660 looks to be that level there in terms of the volume.
Yeah, if it gets enough, it could end up going to 675.
GovX trading back towards the top end of its range here. Jay earlier mentioning TGTX chart looks decent. I would agree with that. Here's your daily on TGTX. We've talked about this one quite a bit. We've seen how this one runs. To me, this really kind of looks like it's testing a 20 breakout here again. 2250 was the last high that we got to. For trading this one, I've had more success myself adding on dips, so I don't necessarily want to chase this move here. But this looks pretty good. I would agree with you, Jay. This chart, good looking chart here, TGTX. Also, these particular moving averages all starting to move in the same direction here. Generally good for a swing trade.
VLCN.
Let me go back. Which one?
VLCN. It took out 675 and it's going to 7.
This lots of stuff here moving and looking good here this morning. Really good stuff, group. Really, really good stuff.
LRHC still holding 3. Next upside target is 350. It looks like if we can continue to hold that, we're going to see 350 at some point soon here. This has got several thousand sell orders to chew through, and it could be putting in a flag here too, where it trades down a little bit. Maybe it gets some support from VWAP and then pushes back up. But LRHC not done yet.
VLCN has some spots above this here. I tell you what, we got a number of things moving here today. Really good start. We'll see if this dries up and then gives us a move later. ENVX, by the way, we talked about this one continuing to move towards its pre-market high. Look for that to take out 1482 here. Irwin asking next target for that one. 14. I got 1493 as the high print in the pre-market. I see size there at 14. Oh my God, they just took it. 15 here. Look for this to go above 15. ENVX right now. Sorry, 13.
VLCN halted now.
Okay, VLCN halted. 713 halted to the upside there.
Yeah, and I like 740 as the next upside target here, and then after that 950. Oh, is Solar Edge moving again? Yeah, it's pushing up. It's pushing up a little bit here. Going to be interesting to see what happens in above 28, between 28 and 29. There's a supply zone from yesterday's after hours that it has to get through. Once it's through that, then I'm not going to speculate on what it's going to do. It could probably rip. It could probably tank. I'm just not sure. All right, LRHC still trying to push up here.
RGS scheduled to unhalt here soon. We'll watch that one. Here it is. RGS unhalted, moving higher now on RGS. Let's see if this pulls. That should give us better possible. Here we go on the pull.
Yeah, right to VWAP.
I have VWAP at 1167. Are you kidding me? What?
Really? 1167? Yes. Wow, that's
yes. And in Thinkorswim, I have it at 1194. I have it multiple points lower than where we're at here.
Mine's at 1430.
Oh my God. Okay,
no,
that is a massively different VWAP. Normally, they're not that big. I don't know what to make of that.
And I wonder. Well, I think it's because of the volume we had out of the gate in this one. It's so different compared to the volume that we had previously. So I think it's really skewing the measurement here in this platform. All right. Well, looks like things are just kind of hanging out for the moment. Maybe LRHC is about to push up here. There's a lot of sell orders just right at 310 and above, just trying to keep this thing down. There's going to be a big whale that comes on in and just crashes that all down.
RGS moving higher here, 1650, 16. Oh my God, this just keeps going. I'll tell you what, the appetite for some of these like gapping mover stocks are pretty huge. Me, it just says traders are looking for something to trade, right? The gamification of the market, which is something that we've talked about quite a bit here.
Crow's got 1430 as well for VWAP. It's interesting.
That is wild, dude. I don't claim to be an expert here. It's just when I see numbers that are that different, don't know what
I just think. Sorry, just use your VWAP then.
Yeah,
just use your VWAP. RGS upside target 1725. We're it looks like we're about to get there.
Wild stuff here on some of these right out of the open.
LRHC coming down to VWAP.
Yeah, now that I have here. Let's see if LRHC bounces there at that VWAP.
This is where I think it would have to. And if not there, then 270. Well, I see there's a
we'll try some here.
There's a good amount of bids at 280.
Got it at 282, so a little bit higher here. I want to see if this catches LRHC. I don't think so, though.
I don't know that we really want to be worried about Carnival anymore. It doesn't seem like there's enough volume to get it back above its VWAP. It's been rejected in pre-market and in the regular session, trying to get back above pre-market. So that's, not sure about that one at the moment. RGS hit that 1725 and it went a little bit higher. Now it's come back in. This is a ripper. Next upside target I have in this one, 1845.
Let's see on LRHC if we can bounce and go back towards 3. That would be good for this particular scalp. RGS just continuing there. I'll wait that craziness out.
I'd like to see LRHC, start to get a little bit more volume, turn around and take out 350.
Yeah,
that's a speculation right now.
You know what's wild on LRHC here? I actually don't have anything here in my ladder in terms of time and sales. I have it on other stocks. I just don't have it here on LRHC and Trade the Pool, which is interesting. It's done a good job holding that 282. So although I bought it a little early here, it's done a really good job holding that VWAP. Nick, you found anything interesting on the wire?
Regarding LRHC?
Regarding anything. Regarding any of the stocks that we've talked about here. Added a little bit to LRHC, by the way. Let's see if we bounce.
No, not many headlines, Ryan. It just seems right now out of the gate, we have Carnival, Norwegian, and NVIDIA being the top S&P gainers right now. You have Royal in the top 4, but you're trying to have Uber come positive. They're up about 2.2%. You have Constellation Energy. It seems like we're getting this rotation here that we're trying to maybe move out of tech and head into energy because WTI is actually tracking for its first positive month, I believe, in 3 months.
LRHD, sorry to interrupt you there. Bounce just not working as I had hoped. Of course. Keep going, Nick. Sorry.
Yeah, so it just seems like there's going to be some rotation here that we're trying to get as we end the month, as we end the week, and as we end the quarter on Friday. So it'll be interesting to see the top performers for a quarter for Q2 and how you position yourself for the second half.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get inflows too for that second quarter. Have you thought about that at all, 13, in terms of like what we might see in terms of inflows?
With regard to what?
Just with regard to the start of the new quarter, like we've always seen, or we've recently seen that the first of the month we've seen some more inflows. Do you expect anything else at the beginning of the quarter in addition to the month?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay.
Just what we get in the very first of the month. Maybe, yeah. I really can't say. Or inflows is the only thing I was really thinking about, because that is when the funds and pensions are all putting money into these stocks.
LRHC flushed me out on that, and now looks like it's trying to bounce. Might have to just give up day trading entirely, to be honest with you, and focus more on swing trading. It drives me insane.
Solar Edge.
MLGO, here we go on MLGO.
Oh man, is that thing coming back?
Yeah, it sure is. Looks like they brought in a bid above it, starting to spread out here. Move through the VWAP on MLGO.
Yeah, I don't know if about this one. It's it's old news now, and
RGS coming back.
I just don't know about MLGO. Maybe it does go, but it's I have concerns.
VLCN should be opening here.
Yeah,
LRCH did exactly what I was looking for in my trade plan. Literally flushed me out first and then did it. Man, that makes me upset. Had that too. Just absolutely had that.
Alyssa.
Well, at least the plan worked out there.
Yeah, it did.
Weena, you guys were mentioning that earlier. That had a huge knife. That just straight up rejected by its VWAP. RGS still holding higher here. See if we see anything else here.
Cavill looking like we need to just take it off our screen. I think this thing may end up going lower. RGS about to push higher. Trying to anyway.
We'll see on RGS. This actually looks like it's going to try and break that high here. Kingdom Lamb mentioning Wolf, WULF, Wolf. That actually popping here as well.
Let's see if there's news. Or if it's just off of Bitcoin trying to rally. There's a lot of filings from yesterday.
Yeah.
There's no Ryan.
Yeah, he said he was going to be right back.
Okay. I cut in and out for me.
No worries. In the meantime, we're going to figure out what there is to trade. To see that, Crow, you're still on RGS? Oh, AISP, Airship's back? All right. Just in time to go Hindenburg. So
ENVX, Jay mentioning here that the short interest high here on ENVX, that was actually part of what Zoltan was saying initially. That's still pretty high here. ENVX doing a good job holding here today as well.
yeah, it looks like Airship really wants to recapture 430 and stay above there. Daily chart seems to suggest that. 5-minute chart's definitely looking like that. That's, I mean, this 430 level. I mean, you go back to yesterday's pre-market, you can see how there's just a bunch of supply going sideways there, and we just fell out of the fell out of the open, and now it's trying to recapture that.
Interesting enough here, Grail.
Cool.
This is a spinoff from Illumina. We talked about this on the happy hour yesterday. This IPOing here today. You brought up a different one this morning, 13, a different ticker, but it looks like this one's open here, 1655. This is halted. This is the third halt here on Grail, by the way.
Yeah, it's basically the same ticker, but with a V at the end. And I wasn't sure what that was about. Usually with warrants, it's like a W. So I'm not sure what that's supposed to indicate. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. Well, AISP getting over 430. It's a little slow on the volume. LRHC still trying to push back up and hold 3.
We'll see if we get it there.
Looks like Carnival's headed lower. VLCN, this is still suspended.
Yep. Yes,
RGS,
it is.
RGS now at 8 through my 1845 level.
12 minutes so far on that VLCN halt. Sorry about that. Here is RGS.
Yep. Next upside target I have is 1940. Seems like if LRHC just had volume expansion a little bit more, this could get back up and hit that 350 level.
Doing exactly what I thought it would do. Man, oh man.
Solar Edge now down closer to the open.
Here we go on LRCH. Oh, looks like it's just kind of a bit of a fake out there.
Down to, I'm going to say my VWAP.
NCLH, NCLH, by the way, Norwegian, this continuing to move post those CCL earnings. CCL doing a good job holding higher here. Royal Caribbean doing the same thing. Havel not doing much of anything. ENVX still shy of 15 there.
You know, Bitcoin had a really ugly day yesterday. I wonder if there's a better upside ahead. I guess I'll probably feel better about it once it recaptures 62 grand.
MLGO halted to the upside. Let's see if this gets rolling here.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, look at that big move there. So 15, we'll call it, let's just do 1575. Let's call it that. That seems to be the big level to get over. Tried it twice in pre-market. It got over it briefly in after hours, just after we closed. It came back in, didn't see a test of that until earlier this morning. So that, I think, would be the big breakout level. Let's take a look and see if there's any orders placed out there. Not that I can see yet. But 1570, 75, that's going to be the area, I think. Airships now holding about 430. That's a good sign. LRHC above 3. Looks like
this makes me so angry, dude. This makes me so angry. I had that. Don't see really anything else moving here.
Nope, because they're all suspended.
In the meantime, I was going to say we could touch on Paramount news. Paramount Global is going to be raising prices for its streaming plans. That's according to Reuters. They say the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan will cost $12.99 a month. That's a hike of $1. That's going to be effective.
Who would pay for that?
August. What?
Who would pay for that?
Not me.
Well, Goldman Sachs just gave it a sell rating with a price target of $9.50.
Damn right they did. I mean, that's awful. Like, first of all, when was the last time there was anything great on Showtime? Crickets from everybody.
There was a show at one point on Paramount.
Wait, Ryan, it gets even better. Paramount Plus Essential subscription rate will increase by $2 to $7.99. That's effective August 20th. Current users of the plan will continue to pay $5.99. So if you're new to subscribing, you get a $2 hike. Then if you have the limited Paramount Plus commercial option, that's going to increase by $1 to $7.99 for current customers on September 20th.
They do not make money.
This whole streaming thing, man,
Does not make money.
Yeah, this is going to end badly.
It's like we're going right back to cable.
Oh, I've been saying it for a long time. I'm glad I didn't do any of that cord cutting nonsense. What a waste of time.
I will also say this. When it comes to sports, I do not think sports should be allowed on streaming networks, given the Pirates a few weeks ago were on Apple TV, and people who don't have Apple TV can't watch it. They had to go to the radio to just listen. I think older people in America do not understand streaming. They do not understand the concept that basically it's worthless, so do not get streaming. Everything should be sticking to cable TV, no matter if it's sports, hockey, movies. The whole streaming thing just doesn't work because of the Wi-Fi and how you need better connection. That's just more money on top of older people trying to pay. It is a shame of what these companies are trying to do, and it needs to be stopped.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I've been on that from the very beginning. I've made jokes about how all of the streaming companies are going to consolidate into a mega streaming company and call it cable.
RGS.
Let's take a look here at RGS. Sorry, I'm ranting. I'm ranting this morning. I'm ranting this morning. I'm pissed about streaming, and I'm pissed about getting absolutely bamboozled on that LRCH trade. I had that. That makes me so angry.
Man, this RGS move. If you were already in it and you took profit as soon as it got up to that, over 19, it went through 1940 that I was talking about, and right to the next level, which was 20. But then it's getting rejected, and we are losing altitude here. So maybe the dip buyers will come in and get this lifted back up. But 20 is the target that I had after 1940, and then after 20, it's 21. And then I don't have anything after that. I'll have to go back and look and see what else there is.
Don't trade angry. Indeed, crankbait, and that is where I'm at. Sam Hall, somebody fire this Ryan guy ASAP, please. See you, Sam. Take care of yourself. Dara said, I've canceled all paid streaming and I'm totally content with free services, Pluto, Tubi. And I bet you know what? I bet your stress levels are lower as well.
Ryan, ticker NNO, Nano Nuclear Energy, up 32%.
Which one?
Nano Energy, ticker NNE. Sorry, NNE.
Oh, I think Jay Rice was talking about this one yesterday.
Yeah, we talked about the smaller nuclear names being really interesting here.
Mm-hmm.
This one spread pretty good too.
Wow. Look at this daily chart on this one.
Great. Yeah, it's just a massive, massive ramp. Look at the move through 10.5. Here, what's this Grail doing now? Okay, that's just kind of holding in there.
Cavill coming back to Earth. Sorry, Superman.
NNE, float is tiny. Well, you're seeing the product of that. You are seeing the product of that. Seeing some NVIDIA puts come across the wire here.
Micro Algo is open, by the way.
Okay.
Wow. NNE. That's incredible. Now, where's the top at?
On NNE.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you figure that one out, 13.
Moving on.
Well said. MLGO here. I actually think we might test the top of this pre-market.
VLCN. Yeah, Wiss just nailed it. And then Parker did too. VLCN
that was a long halt.
A long halt into a short second halt or third halt or whatever halt this is.
Yeah, it was open for 18 seconds per the timestamps. Opened at 10 o'clock 02 and halted at 10 o'clock 20.
Well, now it's up to the pre-market high. And small time frame RSI is pretty extended. And if it goes any higher, I think maybe 1050 is where you could see a reversal. If not there, then 11.
Root getting mentioned here from Crow. It's been a long time since we took a look at Root, and look at the big pop here. This is actually popping to yesterday's intraday highs.
Oh, look at that. It's down in the 40s again. So it's about half the price as it was just last month. Cut in half. So let's see here. If we're going to start to see upside in this one, in Root, then the level of interest that I have is just under 60, around 59.50.
Chewy here going back towards the highs here. Every dip getting bought here in Chewy. This continuing to be awesome. Tesla up off the lows.
LRHC did not get up to 350, and now it's coming right back down to my VWAP.
Mine too, actually. I've got the VWAP here at what, 272, I think that is. Check here, 290.
Yeah, 290 is about where I have it.
92, yeah.
But looking a little bit heavy. Airship, this thing is now in the 440s. So that one's getting some altitude. Micro algo, seems like the volume just kind of left.
You don't see anything abnormal on FinTwit.
Right now, I'm just kind of watching RGS to see if this is going to take the next leg up or if it's going to start to roll over here. Volume is kind of leaving these names right now.
LRHC gave up its VWAP. Watch for a reclaim there on that as that continues to pound lows here. CPOP got a pop. Number of people mentioned in this one here. Big rip up. This actually still pressing the highs here.
Ryan, we just got some news regarding Eli Lilly. If you could throw up a chart of that,
sure.
LLY. Eli Lilly is collaborating with OpenAI to discover novel medicines to treat drug-resistant bacteria. This is according to a new press release. They say our collaboration with OpenAI represents a groundbreaking step forward in the fight against the growing but overlooked threat of antimicrobial resistance. That's according to Executive Vice President and Chief Information and Digital Officer at Eli Lilly. They go on to say generative AI opens a new opportunity to accelerate the discovery of the novel antimicrobials at the development of custom purpose-built technologies in the battle against drug-resistant pathogens. This partnership underscores our commitment to addressing significant health challenges experienced by people around the world. Watch Eli Lilly.
We also got a price raise to 1,000.
Only $100 away. I feel like it could go there in a few days.
Or today. This is kind of not the exact same thing, but very similar to what we were discussing yesterday with in Happy Hour regarding Growl, GRAL, using AI to identify ailments.
By the way, here's that Growl chart post IPO. This one opened pretty early here. Looks like it just went right to 16, really kind of holding there.
Unity Software we're getting asked about, and this thing has had a bad morning. I'll give you a thought on Unity in just a second here, Parker. Wow, this thing has really, really come down. As a matter of fact, we're still making new all-time lows in this one.
ENVX is flagging up here. Sorry, 13.
No worries. So with Unity Software, I don't have any news or fundamental read on this, but just from this, from looking at this on a technical perspective, we're falling out of the support that was put in back in November of 22, and I don't know how long this continues to go down. There would have to be, you'd have to look into some filings into their finances to see what else is going on with this, but that is awful. Maybe there's some high short interest in this. Not really. Nine, almost less than 10%, 3.5 days to cover. It's not really that big of a deal. I'd have to look more into this. I don't see, the big reason why this is going down, but maybe they just they're just not managing their money very well. Sorry, I couldn't give you more on that one.
Real quick here. Love this. Jay, I love when you give stuff ahead of time here, especially when it's something we've been discussing for a little bit. Regarding ticker NNE, once again, notice the squeeze. There's no options and you can't hedge. I'll be looking for the chain to come out. That will be the time to short. So Jay, the only follow-up question I have is, are you actually going to use that option chain to buy puts, or are you just shorting the equity on this? It's not the first time that you've discussed this plan with us. We saw this play out, but I can't remember what the other stock was that this worked on. VLCN, another halt up here, 1027.
Jeez.
Watch Tesla. We got a volume pop up near 1.73% right now.
Was that last candle on Tesla?
So
SMR on the scanner, that's moving higher here. SMR.
Wow, this is about as low as it could go with VLCN. I didn't realize how beat up this was. But I guess they've been, reverse splitting themselves into oblivion.
LRCH continuing to knife here. ENVX, this actually continuing to break new highs here. 1550 looks to be the next spot here on ENVX. Okay, Jay here regarding the question of whether or not you're going to use puts versus the equity. Depends on premium, Ryan. Puts will be expensive. I like using call spreads to short. Did it with FFIE when it hit 3.5. Thank you. That's what it was.
Okay. So with VLCN, there's some gaps we're going to be filling to the upside here. That's going to start at 10.99, so we'll call it 11. When this gets to 11, there's going to be a gap from that level to 12.74. There's about $1.74 that you can capture right in there on a gap fill. And then after that, there's another gap fill that starts at 14.75 and fills at 16.15. You have a couple of gaps on the way up with VLCN. So watch for those to fill. I mean, you can plan your trade around that, but I see these gaps and I'm pretty sure they're going to get filled with this momentum.
I do see some of FinTwit trading VLCN here today. Another one of my traders that I followed for a long time, pretty much since I started, said this is the narrowest market I have ever seen. Common thing that we've been discussing recently.
Danielle, meaning there's a gap in the price action. So if you look at a chart,
here, which chart? What were you talking about? I can bring it up here. Here's one on VLCN.
It is, it's VLCN.
This gap right here.
No, well, that's a gap right there. Yes,
this is a gap. Yeah.
But that's not the ones I'm referring to. I'm referring to the ones that you can see on a daily chart.
If you have a good example, I'd be happy to bring it up here.
Okay. You just have to really, kind of expand the daily chart because of how much this has gone down. But if you on a daily chart, you can see these gaps that I'm referring to if you just zoom in enough on VLCN. And that's in the levels I gave are where they are, those gaps are. So
NNE here. Will saying it's wild. This continuing to push to the highs. Next trade for me here on NNE is to kind of wait this out, just like Jay outlined. How are our halters stocks doing? VLCN still halted. MLGO Still halted here to the upside. Around here.
It seems like Bitcoin's still trying to push up, but still far away from where I think it needs to be.
Crow saying, Ryan, what do you have for VWAP on VLCN? I have 730. I've got 713. So that one only off by 17 cents on a stock that's $10. That's not nearly as bad as the discrepancy that we saw earlier. I wouldn't even be worried about that discrepancy. By the way, all the boats appearing on the scanner now. CCL, RCL, we saw NCLH earlier. It's actually regaining its VWAP as well. CPOP, big pull and right back to the top here. This actually might halt if this goes higher than 195.
What were the other cruise
LCN
lines?
open? RCL, CCL, NCLH.
Just wanted to check on something because remember that port of Baltimore issue with the ship getting stuck? So the port fully opened again on June 12th. And I noticed in these Caribbean stocks that the day after they had a couple of days where they just sold off, and then it recovered. It's just I just was trying to see if that's the same thing across all these stocks. Seems like all these cruise stocks are kind of tied together.
Yeah, Vic would be the other one. Remember, that's Viking, the one that we just had IPO earlier this year.
And CPOP just whipping around. VLCN through 1150.
Through 12 on VLCN.
Yeah, and this let's see if we got that gap fill that I was talking about, because it started at 11 and I think it was 12. It was 12 something. Should have probably marked those off. Okay. So yes, we're filling that gap right now. And the gap fills at 1275.
So we are actually not that far away from that.
Not too far away. Nope.
SPY at the HOD here too, by the way. And Jay, I think you mentioned this earlier, seems to be the opposite of yesterday. How are the Qs doing? I'm looking at the Dow here. That's coming up off the lows. Qs at the highs here. IWM also coming off the lows. You're right, Jay. This does seem like kind of the reverse of yesterday. RGS looks like this is on the backside of the move. I've got, by the way, Crow, VWAP on RGS. I've got it at 1380.
Market Spencer. I'll do one better. I think it could even see 20. I think that's a possibility. Yeah, VLCN is really killing it right now. Let's see, 1275. Come on.
Be right back. 1 sec. I'll leave VLCN up.
All right. Yeah, VLCN would be great to see it get up to that gap fill, maybe pull back a little bit and set up the next trade. That's what I'd like to see. Not saying it's going to happen. That's just what I'm kind of planning for right now. If it doesn't happen, no problem. I'll find something else.
13, we are getting some headlines regarding the conference call from Carnival. They say that regarding their earnings, that adjusted EBITDA not only surpassed Q2 of 2019, but it was also the highest second quarter mark in over 15 years. And even on the call, a Carnival exec says that they're seeing consistent growth in repeated guests as well as new guests. So returning customers as well as new customers, but adjusted EBITDA, the highest ever second quarter mark in over 15 years. So it seems like some demand and some growth is happening in the travel industry that cruises aren't really going away.
Yeah, it sounds like it, but you said some interesting data points there, like return customers, and I'd be interested to know what the demographics are of those customers that are coming. I'd imagine that a lot of them, if not the majority, are in the much older group that have retired and are just wanting to spend money now and don't have to work. MLGO, by the way, this thing is just absolutely on a tear with a new high of 1878. So who knows where this thing goes to? Looks like NNE is got all the way up to 33, and it's coming back in to look for support. VLCN,
MLGO.
VLCN is suspended to the downside now after getting up to 1244. So didn't quite fill that gap, but got pretty close. We'll have to see what happens if VWAP can keep it up or what. But VLCN now halted. Seeing a lot of sideways action here. Only MLGO, which is open again. Yeah, VLCN dip, right?
CPOP big pull through the VWAP there. LRHC continuing to try and find a bottom here. It's actually kind of right where it bottomed out prior to ripping right off the open. Might be an area here. Still don't have level 2 on this one, which is strange.
Yeah, look at the in LRHC that we'll call it 245. That level seems to be pretty interesting. That was a resistance level in much pre-market this morning. So I think, and we're kind of down to there right now. So I think that this would be the level that needs to hold in order for there to be a bounce in LRHC. Otherwise, we're probably headed back down to like the 220 and 65 EMA on the 5-minute.
Yeah. RGS trying to bounce here.
Oh, airship went Hindenburg.
BT higher. Airship below the VWAP. Is that what we mean by Hindenburg? Is that it goes below the VWAP? I mean,
when it dives and crashes. When it crashes.
But like that burnt to 0, the Hindenburg.
Okay,
like,
fair enough. I'm just saying it came down and it's an airship.
Okay.
So
I got you. Relatable. I understand.
You're right, though. It should be going down to 0 if it's going to be a true Hindenburg. Look at RGS now trying to recover, getting a support from VWAP. MLGO still pushing, almost at 19.
HUT here. This actually might be trying to go above the intraday high. 1431, that high here.
Yeah, MLGO was the one to be in. But I have to feel like when this reverses, it's not going to be pretty.
Look at this move, though. 6-point move here again. This is why, this didn't really have any type of gap or fresh news here. This is why we highlighted it, because this obviously on deck from yesterday and then giving us a move here today.
Yeah, and it's all because somebody decided to pick up shares of this company. Well, other than MLGO, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot happening at the moment.
No, I don't see much on FinTwit either. Just kind of Tesla here continuing to move towards the highs.
Jonathan mentioning EVGO, high short interest stock. It's pushing. It's a lot of green candles today. Let me take a closer look at this one.
MLGO coming up to 20 here. Oh, this is halted here. Beg your pardon. Halted here, 1990, 10 cents away.
EVGO would not surprise me if this got up to somewhere in the 260s and sold off a little bit. That's where the 200-day SMA is. I have to think that that's going to be a resistance level because it was before. You can look at a daily chart of EVGO and you can see that 200-day SMA has been the bane of upside.
EVGO, this actually coming into that top there at 250, 251. See some size there at 250.
France versus Poland in an hour and 40 minutes.
That should be that should be a blowout, shouldn't it?
So is this, are we looking at Penn and DraftKings?
Well, so I'm wondering here. So DraftKings already kind of faded from the top. That move worked, right? We talked about that initially. We had the gap fill to the upside. We actually moved above some of those. Penn had its own thing here where there wasn't there? Let me check. Let me get that news. There was news about Penn being approached for a possible sale. That was last week. Let me try and get you that.
Yeah, there was a buyout report potentially, and from Boyd Gaming.
Yep, thank you. There it is.
We know is, according to the report, and this is on our .com, that the report comes as Penn shares are down near like 23% year to date. The company has struggled to grow with its new ESPN Bet Online sports betting platform, but our Chris Catchy actually writes that the deal could face challenges getting off the ground, with Body having a similar valuation when factoring in debt that Penn. A merger or acquisition of Penn could mark the largest in the gambling space in the United States since the $17.3 billion 2020 deal that merged Caesars Entertainment and El Dorado Resorts. So,
okay, Penn. Yeah, that is going to be interesting. That rumor was from Thursday afternoon on Penn. ENVX. This is still, I think, trying to go through 1550 here.
NNE. A couple of knives and halted to the downside. Almost, it's on its way back down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on its way back down to the pre-market highs. Almost there. Almost there. Yeah, EVGO. I'm really thinking that that 200-day SMA is going to stop this upside. It's just done that every time, almost every time, for years. You can go back to 22. It's been doing that. There are some days where it, traded above it, came right back in. So we'll see. EVGO.
Jay Rice, let's see. You hear about Monday qualifier at Rocket Mortgage? A kid from Golf Galaxy was in a 4-5 sudden playoff, chugged 3 beers after the round and got a spot on the 9th playoff hole.
What was the beer brand?
No, I didn't. I'll tell you what. The beer on the golf course has never really done well for me. Congrats to him, though. Can you imagine working at Golf Galaxy is just kind of a retail job and all of a sudden winning a spot to the Rocket Mortgage Open?
Yeah, and then downing 3 beers and then getting a spot on what that
means. You know what that means. 13. I'm curious to know what the beer brand either, because if that's what happened, then what that means is that before his round, just to keep up with tradition, he's got to go through 3 more beers, right? So you probably shotgun those at that point.
That's your answer. The beer brand sent the guy $500.
The beer brand, yeah. BT getting called out by Mark. ENVX, by the way, did go through that 1550 here as we were talking about beer. ENVX going for those highs here. BT, nice push here through 3.
MLGO. Is it time? The Crow's saying it's time.
It's halted here still at 1990 on MLGO. LRHC finally curling off the bottom.
But see, I think this is, MLGO 20 is a it's a pretty important level here. You look at a daily chart. We got right up to where there's this, we're open now. We're going up into the 20s and higher. When do we short, Crow? I mean, it might be coming soon.
Market Mover is asking, what is the news on ticker RGS? It's trading higher after the company announced it entered into a new senior secured credit facility with TCW Asset Management to refinance its existing debt. So it basically refinanced its debt with a $105 million term loan. That's causing it to move 200+% here today, RGS.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Jonathan Cooper, for that update. What are you doing with FFIE? Are you thinking that there's going to be a trade up there? Let me know.
That was lower today, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. You're welcome, market.
I was going to say Rivian is trading higher after Reuters reported that the electric
MLGO, sorry to interrupt you, Nick. MLGO open, popped above 20, halted to the downside 1884. That was barely even open for 10 seconds. Nick, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We're also getting some more news from Six Flags and Netflix. They are going to be entering a partnership. The theme park has involved partnerships with Netflix, Warner Bros., and Lionsgate. This is according to Fast Company. 2 minutes, few minutes ago, actually. They're going to be partnering for this year's Halloween event starting September 7th when you visit the Great Adventure Six Flags in New Jersey and Six Flags in Los Angeles. You're going to see an array of new mazes tailored with horror lovers. So watch Netflix, watch Warner Bros., Lionsgate, and Legendary for this year's Halloween event. So
ticker 6 here, by the way, ticker 6 for Six Flags. This actually popped on volume. This was the first ticker that I went to when you mentioned that. That did pop on volume here. Let me go back to NFLX here. Let's see if there's any reaction to that. Probably not much. The ENVX was just kind of grinding.
Oh, wow. Yeah, VLCN with a halt gap down. Yeah, all these are really starting to lose altitude.
RGS, we'll see what happens when that comes back into the VWAP.
NNE getting a bounce after falling down.
Super spread on NNE.
Wow.
Hut still at the highs. Wolf was mentioned earlier by someone in the chat. That's at the highs, flirting with 5 here. ALNY looking like it's going to break. We put this channel on yesterday. It really did nothing. Tried to break out of it a little bit, but just went right back into it. We'll see what happens here. ALNY if we break out 235.50 to the upside.
Yeah,
Tom, really appreciate the kind words here. Take care of yourself. We'll see you around the next time that you're here.
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, Jonathan Cooper, BTBT, that's been a Bitcoin name for a long time. I just never thought that this was actually going to end up turning around because I thought it was one of those junkier names. Okay. Yeah, Bitcoin almost 62K. Good. It needs to get back up. It's actually, I see it has just popped over 62K. So now it needs to hold that. I mean, really close to, let me look at a daily chart of this because I was looking at Bitcoin yesterday and I thought, man, that's really close to its 200-day SMA when it was selling off. Let me see how close it got to that.
Interesting that some of these names are having a day here, although Bitcoin's trading back up now too.
It should. That was a technical move.
Yeah.
Yeah, 58,000 was a very. Who else was talking about 58,000 being a big? Was it Matt?
Say one more time. Sorry,
who else
was reading something else.
Who else was talking about 58,000 in Bitcoin being a big support level? Was it Matt? Somebody yesterday said it.
I don't remember. Sorry. Market Sniper saying, I don't trust any of the miners.
Yeah, I mean, there's some that are just going to be so tied to Bitcoin that it doesn't, their costs may not matter as much if Bitcoin just continues to rise, because they hold so much Bitcoin that their cash position is tied to the value of Bitcoin. So, yeah,
ENVX trying to go higher here.
This is not the EVGO one.
Hey, did you check on Pool at all today, 13? I know we talked about this yesterday with the happy hour. Tom from our happy hour group was mentioning that new pool construction down like 6.5% this year.
Yes.
Generally speaking, a read there on the consumer for summer. Nick, did you have anything else on this one? Ticker POOL?
Yeah, yesterday afternoon, they actually cut their full year EPS outlook from 13.19 to 14.19 to actually 11.04 to 11.44. And then they also go on to say that sales are trending down approximately 6.5% from comparable period in 2023. So looking at a year-to-date basis from the start of the year to now, from this year to last year's point. We also got some price target lowers today. Wells Fargo goes to 290 from 360. Baird actually maintains their target, or I'm sorry, Baird actually lowers their target to 305 from 380. And Oppenheimer also goes to 356 from 416 on Pool. I also heard from a couple people that I know that owns pools and that are trying to get some work done and trying to get the correct materials with the chlorine. They said it is getting harder each year to find the products. And
Interesting.
And it just seems that pool companies can't handle the supply chain issues along with the demand on top of it.
Okay.
So what is that? Well, I mean, that reminds me of Leslie's pool supply, which is LESL, and that thing has just been hammered. So when does this turn around then? Also with the
Leslie
Pool,
actually looks like a fairly decent bottom here at 390 area.
with Pool, if this one loses 280, then I think 160 is where it ends up eventually. That's POOL.
Yeah.
I'm looking at monthly charts for both of these. Leslie's just, you look at a monthly chart for Leslie, it had a really good time, and then it's just had nothing but bad times.
Hayward Holdings, Jay giving us this one. This is HAYW. This is not one that I've ever pulled up here. This is doing the same thing here. It's much weaker. All those pool names weaker.
Yeah, and Jay Rice, the only reason I can ever recall this ever being up like it was back in 2021 was because of the deep freeze and the amount of pipes that broke as a result of that pool piping. This one had a huge rally off that, and since then, not even the deep freezes that we've had since then have helped this move. So yeah, I don't know where this turns around. So where are the supply chain problems mostly? Like what's sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was going to say 13. The issue that I'm hearing from a lot of people that have pools that they just can't get the supplies, that the store carrier can't get them. There's still supply chain issues, and then the price of their supplies have also gone up dramatically. I've heard upwards of 30% at some points for chlorine and things to just clean the pool. And the demand, of course, they just can't find enough people to help put in pools. I hear from pool companies that you got to be on the waiting list for another year from now. So there was reports of even last year and even this year that if you wanted to install a pool in your backyard, you needed to get on the list immediately because the demand is high. It's just they're having a lot of supply chain issues and it's taking a little bit longer a lot longer than anticipated to get the supplies in, to get things in. And then the weather, if it doesn't cooperate, you're going to have even more issues. So there's a mix of things, but the supply chain issue continues to linger.
That's interesting because that kind of throws cold water, no pun intended, on the consumer being weakened and maybe the demand being less. Seems like it's supply chain related. Jay Rice hitting it right on the head here. Pools are like boats, expensive to maintain. Boats, of course, you know what that stands for. Bust out another 1,000. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Look, I was when I was growing up as a kid, I was fortunate. A number of different families in the neighborhood had pools, so I was able to use them pretty frequently. But man, oh man, yeah, my family not interested in putting in a pool at all because of some of those maintenance costs and everything that was required to it.
Oh yeah, getting a new liner, getting new stairs. That is, I know a few people and I've seen them. They say it's going to take 2-3 months just to get a new ladder put in place because of demand and supply chain issues.
Okay.
One of the biggest suppliers of chlorine is Westlake Corporation. That's ticker WLK.
WLK, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to look and see where these which companies that are producing these supplies are going to likely to benefit from the demand, and if there's going to be continued supply issues coming from these companies, I expect their stock to continue to rise. Look at Westlake since the pandemic, just in a almost straight up uptrend. I think we could draw a trend line from here. The bottom.
What was the ticker again? WLK.
Yeah.
WLK. Got it.
Yeah. So this is just in an uptrend since the pandemic, with a sell off or two in between. And this company also pays a dividend.
Clean Slate mentioning Goss got a $9 price target. I was looking at that earlier. It was kind of trading up. We are above the pre-market high here. Volume looks pretty decent as well. That's ticker GOSS, Gossamer Bio. That was an Oppenheimer price target, by the way. Initiated coverage with an outperform rating and a price target of 9 there, ticker GOSS.
All these names we were looking at today, they're all not doing good.
I'll tell you what, this Goss, though, this actually has some insider buys as well. Interesting. Looks like they sold some in March at 1 in teens, and then they bought it back at 70 cents. Here we are at 102, ticker GOSS. Now that is interesting.
Looks like I'm not even sure about CPOP, but that's still kind of hanging out up in the area that it was moved up to this morning. And then E trying to come back as well. Yeah, MLGO rolled over. Might get support from VWAP or this EMA that it bounced off of. We'll see. GRAL sideways. Airship Hindenburg. SEDG Solar Edge popped sideways now. LRHC lower. VLCN, jeez.
Sorry, I'm dealing with my charging situation here. Let me check out VLCN. This CPOP, by the way, did anyone trade this one here today? This thing is pop, drop, pop, drop, pop, drop all day here today. VLCN, let's check that out. Wow, that did move beneath its VWAP. We'll see if that can reclaim it there.
Yeah, you're right, Robert. Wolfen ILM still okay. And CPOP, I guess, is still okay too. But that's one we've traded before, and it was trading much, much higher than what it is right now. It's not even near my previous levels. Curious to see if MLGO actually gets a VWAP bounce now. But the only news on MLGO, as you recall, was just that somebody took a large position in it.
A VLCN through the VWAP here.
Mm-hmm. Just
think this bounces at all?
I mean, it's pretty spready right now, so I could see it move up on light volume, but then there's going to be just that one big seller that completely crashes this thing.
Yeah. I didn't really crash it. That just moved it back down to VWAP.
No, Jay Rice, I think that's correct. There are we do have several bond auctions this weekend. Yes, PCE I'm looking forward to on Friday, and the GDP on Thursday.
Kudos to you, 13. You had said at the beginning of the week, the end of the week, and I have that important data here. That's still the case, obviously.
I think we have 9 Fed speakers this week, all spread throughout. We had Bowman today, and I believe we have others spread through today, tomorrow, Friday, because I think I don't think the July meeting for FOMC is till the end of the month. So it's going to be a while. So we're going to have a lot of Fed speak each and every day with a lot of economic data. And each economic data point now is actually going to be one to watch, because one little shift in an economic standpoint can really shift some views here.
Yeah. VLCN starting to kind of pick up here.
Yes, July 30th and 31st.
It's real spready.
Is the next FOMC meeting. You're right. And then nothing until September 17th and 18th.
But we do have Jackson Hole in August, which is going to be one to watch.
Yeah, that's mainly just them discussing economics.
And that could really bring a lot of what's going to happen in September, and then September, December. There's a lot of thrown around the towels here of when a rate cut could be coming. Do we get 1 this year? Do we get 2? How does it all play out with inflation, with PCE, CPI? Do we get to that 2% mark? Is inflation really sticky, or is it just we're in the camp here that it's either or on the other hand?
Is that a John Fort reference?
Yes.
I love it. I caught that one.
Yes.
I caught that one. Really quickly here, VLCN went at this a little bit small with the intention of adding here. It's starting to spread out and bounce. Wouldn't be shocked if this tested 10 in fairly short order. It's going to have to keep moving here, though. Volume's fairly decent. See if it ends up breaking beneath here. Oh, also, as far as today goes here, as I had mentioned yesterday, no Anne-Marie here today. We do have the direction webinar coming up right after us. See if Zunaid's actually going to take over.
And then there won't be live trading on Wednesday.
And there will not be live trading tomorrow, correct?
SLNH in the recent news. I'll take a look, John. Let's see here.
See if VLCN starts to go here. The ads come through at the worst possible time. I will screenshot and give the feedback back to the show's team. As mentioned the first time we talked about this, I don't have any control over that. JJ says, why aren't we having live trading tomorrow? Oh, didn't you hear? I'm getting fired. Funky Cold Stock saying, I'm going to be lost tomorrow. Nah, you'll be all right. We actually are going to have a webinar with T3, and he's awesome. So I definitely encourage you to check out the webinar. And like we've said, we're going to be back on Thursday. You're going to be all right.
Okay. So Jonathan, regarding SLNH, that's pretty interesting news. So basically they're unleashing NVIDIA GPUs to mine Bitcoin. And they have some kind of situation here where their data centers are green data centers for the application of mining Bitcoin and helping with AI. So I guess I'm wondering, how well does that work out for the stock if ESG plays are no longer the thing, depending on which, who's in office next year? Do we, because I think we had a discussion yesterday about how, shutting down some of these government operations, like the Department of gosh, what's the one? What was the one that Tom was talking about? Ryan, can you help me remember?
Which say one more time. The department.
There's a department, an ESG department. I forget which one it is. It's like an environmental department. I don't know why I can't think of it. But if we start seeing some of these departments get shut down in an effort to cut spending, that could upend a lot of jobs. That could upend a lot of funding for these green ESG companies.
Yeah, I remember the discussion you're having, 13. I can't remember the name of the department.
I'm sorry I can't give you the correct departments that we were thinking of, but depending on who's in office could affect the green place. So I guess it's easier just to say if Trump's in office and he has a red Congress with him, then you might see these departments get cut, and some of the funding for companies that are specifically getting into the green, that have invested in the green data centers and green ESG plays, those could take a pretty massive hit. On the other hand, if we have another Biden presidency and he has a Congress that's working in his favor, then these could end up doing well. So I think that's what you'd want to watch for with something like this. Okay. Completely excluding that, this is just going to move, I think, with Bitcoin, SLNH, because they are mining it.
Real quickly, good
yes.
stuff.
Department of Energy. Sorry, thank you.
Okay, the DOE. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Real quickly here, Clean Slate also helping us out there, but also mentioning gas here moving. We talked about this one. This is actually kind of interesting. We were taking a look there at VLCN. This big time reversal here. So it actually looked like this was going to try and go towards 950. I was looking to shell out those 100 shares there, but we've actually moved beneath the buy here. Haven't lost the VWAP yet, so kind of going to stay in this one since it's just such a small position size.
And Tony, yes, you're right too. The EPA, those are the ones I'm referring to, where because there's been talks about cutting funding for a lot of these departments and agencies. So those are, I'm sure those are going to be among the first to go if they get their way. So that's where I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, all good. I'm just kind of rolling through some of the tickers here. Look at CPOP. Crow, were you trading this? Anyone else? Or Jay's Life? Were anyone else trading this? This one was wild here today.
215 next upside target in CPOP for me.
Fairchild, it's hilarious that you asked this. Absolutely hilarious that you asked this. Are we going to get some Melvin this week? So, what's funny about this is last week with Juneteenth, we obviously missed Tim Melvin. Several of you commented on that. I actually reached out to him ahead of time this week and said, hey, look, Wednesday, we're not going to have a show here, but we don't want to miss you 2 weeks in a row. Are you actually available later in the week? The answer is yes. So look for Tim Melvin here on Friday, Fairchild. We ain't going to shortchange you on that one. So no, we are going to have him here despite that webinar tomorrow. It's just going to be moved to Friday. Morning, Walter. Good to see you.
Let's take a look at SPY, see how we're doing.
Say, while we have this law, we can talk about Cisco, ticker CSCO. According to CNBC, Cisco's Greater China head Ming Wong told them that that Cisco is very optimistic about its growing business with Chinese electric car companies as they expand overseas. Chinese electric car companies have ramped up their global expansion in the last year as competition domestically has intensified, according to them. And she says, quote, at least as of now, we don't hear anything from the EV companies saying because of this, we need to stop investing or we need to slow down. So just watch Cisco.
Okay, CSCO there on Cisco.
What's interesting is that earlier, sorry, I can't remember who it was, but if you said it, if you reveal yourself, that'd be great. He was saying that the consumer confidence report could help lift the market. And it was interesting too, because the market was leaking into that report, and then the report came out at 10 a.m. and helped lift the price of the SPY back up into the sideways channel that it was in. So good call there on that one. That helped prevent the DSL. I'm trying to. I don't remember who said that. I was asking, but just want to kind of shout that out. That was a good little piece of information there that helped give you. Let's see, what would it give you? About almost $1 in the SPY.
VLCN here back down to its VWAP, but trying not to give it up here. So watch for another potential bounce here on VLCN. See if we end up getting it here.
If you lose VWAP, I'd be looking at 745 as a potential support area. That's where pre-market has had it as a resistance area following the initial pop.
Watch Tesla, guys. We are getting reports that RBC Capital has issued a note headlined, quote, quarterly delivery tracking causing RBC to lower their Q2 numbers. Estimate deliveries for Q2 of 410,000. That's down 23% versus the prior estimate of 533,000, 4.3% percent below consensus based on registration data and app downloads. Expects Tesla to report deliveries first week of July. That comes on the heels as I believe UBS yesterday lowered their Tesla deliveries for Q2. They're actually at now 420,000. That would be a 10% year over year, but 9% quarter over quarter. They admit that it compares admittedly too high to the 471,000 deliveries that they plugged into their model as a quarterly placeholder for post Q1 24 earnings. They say that the buy side expectations are for 410 to 425,000, and they'll revise their models after they report the quarterly earnings.
It wouldn't surprise me if Tesla went up to 189 at some point today. It looks like right now on the 5-minute chart that it's putting in a bit of a flag here. As long as it can stay above 185, I think you might get the resolution of the flag.
I've got VWAP at 185.02.
All right. Then it seems like it's a pretty good setup. So we'll see.
Do you think Tesla can meet the demand? Do you think these partnerships that they're adding with the different electric vehicle makers is kind of helping bring more people on board?
The first part of Tesla meeting the demand, I think if the demand continues to wane, yes, Tesla will be able to meet it. The question is it going to net bring more people on? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't think Tesla's about cars. I think it's about Elon. So I think that whatever happens
as a tech company, then
sure. I just don't know what comes of this pay package, and I think that's going to be the big question mark as to whether Tesla ends up going higher or lower. Because I think that if Musk doesn't get his pay package, that he's just kind of going to turn his attention to his other companies. So that's the thought I have.
Yeah, and that would make total sense here. By the way, MLGO, this being mentioned here by Crow, this curling looking like it's coming up off the VWAP MLGO. We shall see. Comp SRX1, great show, guys. Hey man, we're just trying to follow your lead. After mentioning G14 classified yesterday from Rush Hour, I had a really tough time trying to eclipse that greatness that you showed yesterday. So good stuff there. Great to have you here today.
Yeah, MLGO looks. Let's see what it does.
VLCN. Let's see here.
I'm gonna go back and see where EVGO is. I think that was 265. I was looking for reverse, right? Let me double check here. Yeah, 265 is where I think EVGO will end up topping out at if it gets up there today.
VLCN looking like this might try and pop a little bit here. Sit here at 882 and try and get out of this one. We'll see. This really kind of pulled back. All love. I got you, man. I got you. That's been a great movie for a long time. A long time.
Back when we could still make good movies.
Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it.
Well, you saw Inside Out 2 really bringing in the revenue for Disney and really bringing in the revenue for the theater companies over the weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't see Inside Out 2, but I did see that piece of news there.
Believe it or not, somebody on my Facebook page actually went to the movie theater watching, and they said it was an absolutely horrible movie.
No, I believe that. I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly, actually.
But it's probably the best thing that Disney's come out with in a while.
Yes, it seems that the movie theaters, people are willing to only go to the movie theaters for good movies, and I truly support that. I don't want to go to the movie theater and watch an absolutely horrible movie.
C-pop.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. C-pop again?
C-popping.
C-popping here right before this webinar.
Yeah, and MLGO looks like it's trying to push as well.
MLGO was curling pretty good there.
Yeah, it's very spready though. The Beekeeper, I saw that one. You know, I don't know that Jason Statham's really that big of a sell anymore.
Really?
I feel like, I mean, there's a stagnation about the characters he plays.
Yeah, I feel that.
So, you know, it's better than a lot of the stuff that's out there. I mean, I was entertained, but the whole premise of the whole Beekeeper story that they have there is just like, okay, well, it's just another government agency, blah blah blah. All right,
VLCN turned around here, went above 9, took out my sell order there, so that scalp worked. So got a little bit back. That's cool. Right before the show ends too. That's pretty cool. LRCH, boy, that is really struggling. You know what though? Judging by what we said here at the beginning, keep this on watch for later on today. We'll see if this ends up rolling. VLCN up here till 9:30. That one not done either. Keep that on your list for this afternoon. I'll probably come back to that one. Who wants to watch Grandpa beat up the same guys again? Isn't that Taken? No,
What's
whatever.
that?
Yeah, he was. Fairchild said, "Who wants to watch Grandpa beat up the same guys again?" And I was saying, "Isn't that Taken?" And Liam Neeson, he seems more like a grandpa. He seems to beat up the same guys.
Yeah, they had what, 3 of those?
Yeah. Oh, was it only 3? Anyway,
Maybe there was a spinoff, probably, but
Chewy, by the way, continuing to go higher here. 30 print, not out of range here. Jay Rice, I believe you said you could see this going towards 40 on Chewy. Another strong day here.
Bad Grandpa.
That is actually a movie, though. Bad Grandpa,
Yes,
I believe, is actually a movie.
Yep.
950 coming here on VLCN. You know, the good news here with some of these that we're trading here today, they actually look like they might be in play for the remainder of the day here. Jane, I know you said earlier, does anyone feel like the trading day ends after our show ends? Look, I'll take that as a compliment for sure. Definitely trying to give you some entertainment and some laughs here. But yeah, I mean, always stay ready, right? Always stay ready. I feel like my trading day definitely ends after this show. I generally start doing a whole bunch of other tasks. And it looks like the rainstorm might be done here in Chicago. Okay.
Seeing some news here about VSTO, Vista Outdoor, about there being an antitrust suit and national security review over the sale to a Czech company. And that's got me curious about, you know, what this does for other gun and ammo stocks.
What does that do for POW, by the way? Wouldn't that be a net POW? Well, if they're going to block it, that would be a net negative for POW.
I think so.
Yeah, and that moving a little bit lower here, seeing a red candle there.
Yep, that's according to Politico. There's a new report that just dropped 3 minutes ago.
Sure. Nikola had a 30-for-1 reverse split.
Oh, was that today? Was that effective as of today? Yeah.
I believe so.
By the way, we can actually end the show here with this. Chipotle trading up here today. This split adjusted price. Let me do some quick math here. I think it's going to be about $65, right? 50. We've got a price here of what? 3240. Let's just call it divided by 50, 64.80. Boy, that was pretty good. Pretty good head napkin math there. It was only off by 20 cents. Okay.
So don't wake up tomorrow morning and say, what happened to Chipotle?
Well, don't forget, we won't be here, so we're gonna have to fill in a little bit later. All right, folks, this was good stuff here today. Despite calls for my job and the poor day trading, pretty good day here. Actually finished it off with a decent scalp. Lots of good news breakdown. Stick around for the direction webinar 13. And Nick, we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, guys?
No, we won't.
Excuse me, that's not what I meant. We will see ya on Thursday. Take care, everybody. Stick around for the webinars. Have a good one. And we'll be back here.